This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be hearing some new music, including from the Prelude Implicit by the band Kansas.
And American Band, the latest album by the Drive-By Truckers.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And my name is TJR. I'm a musician and music writer.
Now I'm going to kick things off, right?
Yes, you are.
Might as well, since I'm talking.
I'm going to let you.
There's a band
Your show.
that a few people might remember. They
Okay.
haven't come out with a new album since 2000.
Okay.
The band Kansas.
Oh, okay.
They are
Kansas.
they are back with a full-length album of new music. The great prog rock American band.
Carry On, Wayward Son?
Get exactly, from Left Overture.
Okay.
Now the Prelude Implicit is, like I said, it's a brand new collection of songs, and I have to say, I put this album in. I know there's 6 members in the band, but I think only 2 of them, and I don't have the names off the top, but I think when I looked on Wikipedia, there was a chart with the members that have come and gone, come back, and I mean, it was a little bit confusing. So I go, I'm just going to listen to this album on its merits. I was a big fan of Left Overture, a real big fan of that album. I played it to death, and I really have been loving this album for more than a week since I first started listening to it. I did a review in my print column, and then I thought I'd bring it to the show. I go, a lot of people probably don't even realize Kansas is around, or just think of them maybe as a nostalgic act. This is a very good album, and why don't we do this? Why don't we listen to a little bit of one of the songs? This song is called Summer, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the song and why I like it so much.
Summer, it's coming soon. Here we go.
How were we supposed to know that a time would come and go so fast, and we'd be racing in time? We'll never forget all the things that we shared, the way that we felt as we stood there, the path that we chose left us distant and free.
Okay, so I listened to it a lot more than what we normally listen to on the break here. I'm really not sure what to say. I mean, obviously, they're great players. They're playing really well. They're not trying to condense the sound at all. It's got all the long, musical jam session interplays going on. I hear the fiddle, which was, a big part of the Kansas sound, the classic Kansas sound. You've only got 2 original members left. I don't think I can comment yet whether I can say, yes, I like this, no, I don't. I feel it bears, it's worth exploring from just a first opening listen point of view. Like I said, you've lived with it longer. I feel like I can't comment until I've at least heard it a little bit more. I really feel like I can't comment
And
at all.
I think that's a fair assessment. Like I said, when I first put it in, I played it once, and some of the songs were more accessible, some less. But as you know, before I review an album, I always try to listen to it at least 3 times in its entirety.
Of course.
I'd say by the second, third time, I was definitely locking in on specifically on a number of the songs on it that were really grabbing me. This album explores different songs: love, sacrifice, faith, mortality. I mean, some pretty rich themes. This song "Summer" it grabbed me because I had actually just gone to a high school reunion. There were people there I hadn't seen in so long. I don't even want to say how long it had been, but literally. And this song, I think, captures that thing about like looking back in the distant past. You kind of think that there's going to be more time ahead, but those summers go by really quick. But I think it captures that kind of when you're at a certain point in your life and you have a nostalgic yearning for the past. And I think it taps into that. Other songs tap into there's a song we're not going to be listening to today about refugees, which is very timely with everything going on. I mean, there's some pretty heady subjects here, and they're weaving those themes around just some flat out, really intricate and lush musicianships with great musicianship. And I'm a person that came to the prog rock table kind of late in life, discovering Rush and Yes and everything. But I'm like I said, this is just a really exciting album for me.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely when I could tell. They're great players. They're playing is tight and focused, and it's complex. But I just feel like I need more time.
And I need
listen.
to state a correction here. I think there's actually 7 members in the band. I think I said 6, so I apologize about that. The package is really great.
It is
some really nice artwork here, and have to be careful when I open this up because the band, at least in the CD version here, they include this kind of tour laminate, which is very cool. You know,
It is.
kind of like you would get if you were getting a backstage
Yeah.
access at a concert.
Yeah.
And the booklet has all the lyrics. It's kind of colorfully illustrated with a photo of the band there. So just really nice. Lyrics are kind of put against artistic graphics, but they are easy to read. And like I said, I think it's a good return. Let's listen to the song that we're going to hear now, "Crowded Isolation." Very different theme that they're talking about. So let's listen to a little bit of that one, and then we'll talk about
See
that.
how it hits me.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
With every step I hesitate in world too fast. It's hard to move beyond my own door. How can I get away from my
Okay, this time, don't need to hear it a second time. Immediately, I'm sold on the groove. Immediately, I'm sold on the riff. And pretty freaking awesome song.
Yeah, it is, isn't
I mean,
it?
even without like pondering the lyrics in any way, shape, or form, just the overall vibe, the energy, the aggression of it, and the overall riff, just, yeah, I'm right there.
Yeah, and I love this song. And, you know, it's funny, the lyrics could probably be about a few different things, but when I hear just the title, "Crowded Isolation," I think of you walk into a coffee shop, there's like, it's packed, but everybody, even they're with their date, they're with their friends, they're all looking at their phone. It's like people, they can be in these crowded places, but they're all isolated from each other. They're like separated by these digital walls or something.
That would make sense.
But I don't know if it's about that, but I'm just saying there's something about this album that it taps into the past, present, and the future. And, you know, it's a great legacy for Kansas. I mean, that this is a band that's endured. I mean, I know many bands have kind of come back, and you know, with mixed results, obviously. I mean, some have come back like gangbusters, bands that we've discussed, but I'm very impressed, and you know, it's perhaps either, you know, we should just be gratified after 16 years they came back with a new album, but maybe it won't be another 16 before they return.
I would be curious to know what any viewers out there who are maybe more familiar with the Kansas catalog
and the band,
and how their
itself.
feelings about it
Exactly.
are. And it's kind of like with Chicago, where Chicago, all you have left now are the horn players and the keyboard player.
Right. Yeah.
They're the only original
Robert
members.
Lamb, I think, is his name. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're the only original members, and there have been so many people moving in and out of that band as time has gone on. And their last album that came out about a year or so back was an astoundingly good comeback from a band that had kind of dried up.
Yeah.
Ages
I agree
ago.
with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, and so and I guess this is another one where it's like, you know, even though I like that Chicago album and I love that song you just played, you know, I think this is somewhere we're going to have to do another discussion about, is it the same band anymore?
Yeah.
Is it still that band?
Exactly. And
There's so much change.
And we've wrestled with. I know
Yeah.
we've talked offline.
We've wrestled with it.
Yeah, and I know I've talked to so many of my music-loving friends about, like, you know, is the Who still the Who without John Whistle and Keith Moon? Yeah. You just wonder if it's this, but you know, everybody has different opinions on it. So you're more than welcome to join in the discussion. Now, who did you bring in today?
So speaking of, I have here the latest album by one of my favorite bands, the Drive-By Truckers. This is their 11th studio album. I first became aware of this band many years ago when I stumbled across their 2 CD concept album, Southern Rock Opera. And Drive-By Truckers are considered a Southern rock band. They are from Alabama. And because of that, some people have tried to say they're the thinking man's Leonard Skinner. But I don't know. I think they sometimes have more in common, musically speaking, with Neil Young than maybe with Leonard Skinner. But they do oftentimes have songs that deal with the South, that deal with the complexities of that culture. And now with this album here, there's a number of things that are remarkably different. First of all, this is the first time where the artwork, on the interior of this album, we have the Wes Freed artwork, and maybe I shouldn't be talking about Package right now, who normally does their album covers. Now it's on the interior, and we have a photo album cover here. And that kind of marks the fact that, to me also, symbolically, this is a very different Drive-By Truckers album. This album began prior to it being recorded, when their last album was already out. Patterson Hood, who's one of the band's two primary songwriters, posted the lyrics to a song back in 2014 on their band's website called What It Means. And that song dealt with the deaths of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. And when he posted that lyric, the response that he got from their fan base was so polarized between thank you for finally coming out and saying something about this and pointing out the truth to you guys are all anti-police.
Yeah.
You know, so he said, wow, you know, it's like the reaction just kind of blew him away. And I said, well, we're onto something here. This album, and I'm going to quote another reviewer, another source here, Salon.com called this the album the equivalent to Green Day's American Idiot.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't like to go to other people's reviews, but I have to agree. This album looks at so many of the ills and controversies that are affecting America right now. Normally, drive-by trucker albums their songs are more fictional. You know, I heard Patterson Hood once say, I'm really just a frustrated filmmaker.
Yeah.
He tells stories with his songs, sometimes very dark stories.
Okay.
But this time now, they're dealing with American reality in this album. So it's very different. And it looks at a lot of the current ills that are facing America right now. It looks at the rather complicated matter of race relations in the South. And of course, once again, they speak from being residents of the South.
Right.
And it looks at issues like gun violence. And, you know, does the album take sides? Yes, it does. But all throughout, the band refuses to simplify these issues into just simple phrases. The questions that this album asks and the arguments it creates, it refuses to simplify those things. It realizes that these questions and the answers that we might find are very complicated. And that's kind of been always my difficulty when people say, why don't you write about a song about something political? To me, these issues are way more complicated than I can summarize in a short pop song. And, you know, God bless them. They found a way to really talk about these in a way that is intelligent and not insulting. And that conveys the complexity of all this. And so this is going to be not the easiest album to wrap your brain around, but it's well worth the effort. And so we're going to play a track here for you. And we're going to play to see what you think.
Okay, sounds
and,
good.
And in fact, we're going to play the song, you know, that the lyrics were, I said, What It Means. It was posted back in 2014.
Okay.
Now it's completed as a whole song.
Okay, sounds
Here we
great.
go.
Okay.
And when they turned him over, they were surprised there was no gun. I mean, he must have done something, or else why would he have run? And they'll spin it for the anchors on the television screen, so we can shrug and let it happen without asking what it means, what it means.
You know, you're absolutely right. That is a powerful song, and it deals with it in a serious level. On one hand, it's giving you the bare skeleton of the story, with, you know, but on the other hand, it's talking about the big picture. Like, I mean, I love what towards the end of the song, it's like, you know, we can do all these technological marvels, but we still can't get this little thing right about getting along and eliminating bias and creating some justice in our society. And and I'm even simplifying it there, but yeah, it's a very powerful song, and the way it's poetic, you know, it's done in a talkative way, a conversational tone. Yeah, you know. But it fits the music and everything, and very powerful.
And at times it looks at it from the point of view of an outsider who would be looking at this like from their TV screen,
right? Like an
dinner.
objective, like almost like an alien comes in. What's going on here? Why is this happening? You know, kind of thing. And it's like the more things, and of course this is a broader discussion, but the more things we try to get it right, in a lot of ways, some things don't seem to get any better at all. But yeah, is the whole album kind of like that, or?
Yeah, this whole album deals with these themes. Now, and that's a good. That is a segue into the packaging, because there is within. Let me just get into that real quick here, and you'll understand why. Okay. I already talked about, of course, the artwork here and the exterior. There is a booklet here. And there is an essay at the beginning.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Where Patterson Hood
maybe pull it just a little bit closer so you can see it.
Just talks about the genesis of this album. He talks about how when they posted the lyrics to that one song on their website and how it led to other songs, and how and it specifically talks about certain songs and just what was going on in their heads when they wrote it, and of course all the lyrics are included. They're extremely easy to read. They've been printed in nice white lettering against black backgrounds.
We like that when we can read the lyrics.
Yeah, and of course all the credits and everything else. But yeah, definitely you're going to want to sit there with the lyrics because too much can pass you by if you don't.
Okay.
But all throughout, like I said, they refuse to simplify these issues. They refuse to dumb them down. They realize they're complex and they treat them that way. And yet somehow they pull off the miracle of being able to get it all out within the realm of a pop song. Of
That's
a pop
amazing.
rock song. Yeah.
Yeah.
It utterly blows me away. And now here's another song that, like I said, this song to me shouldn't be controversial, but I think if it ever gets out into the general public's consciousness, it will be. This song is by the band's other primary songwriter, Michael Cooley, and this song is called "Once They Banned Imagine," and it deals with the fact that back during the Iraq War, the song "Imagine" by John Lennon was banned from radio airwaves during that time. After the attack on 9/11.
I know a few songs were banned actually during that period. Yeah.
And so here we go.
Once they banned Imagine, it became the same old war it's always been. Once they banned Imagine, it became the war it was when we were kids. Once they banned Imagine, it became the same old war it's always been.
You know, this was my first time hearing this, so and I did read along the lyrics. I listened to the full song. I think very powerful. Obviously, I think sounds like what he's saying there is like even though we're trying to have a noble cause when we're fighting this, it's like it's a pattern's repeating itself. But you know, I mean, I'm sure you're going to shed more light on it. But it is a very powerful song that has you thinking in all kinds of ways. I don't know if he's necessarily being a full-on pacifist, where he's saying we shouldn't have done anything after 9/11. But it sounds like he's saying, hey, how many freedoms are we going to give up? I mean, I'm hearing different things, but maybe you can clarify it for me a little bit.
I don't think he's saying, you should be a pacifist after 9/11. I think that he's saying, we all, were, in my opinion, I think that after 9/11, we were all in such a hurry to prove how patriotic we are.
Right.
Everybody was falling all over them to say, wait, no, I'm more patriotic than you. No, I'm more patriotic than you. Nothing wrong with that. But we were so blinded in proving that, I think we the people, that we stopped questioning, well, wait a minute. Why are we going to war with these people who had nothing to do with the destruction of the Twin Towers versus going after the people who did have something to do with it?
So you're thinking it's more about like the whole thing in
I think
Iraq
we stop questioning authority. We stop questioning the government. We just blindly become patriots.
Yeah, I see what
and we stop asking the questions. And anybody who did say, hey, wait a minute, before we send our troops into harm's way, shouldn't we make sure we're sending them to the right war? And if you said that, well, you don't support the troops. And you have this contradiction. You don't support the troops because you're questioning why we're sending them there first. We're questioning the validity of going there and doing that. And it became,
So I think that I think that's a reasonable
I think that's part of it.
interpretation.
Also, it's looking at, and he's kind of saying, once they banned Imagine, it became the same old war when we were kids. The Vietnam War is how I interpret that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And of course, now we know, there were no mass weapons of destruction. The administration got it wrong. And you can say, some people will say they really thought it was there. It was a mistake. Others will say they knew it all along. It was just a hollow excuse. And we're not going to debate that on the show because we're not a political show.
Yeah, exactly.
But these are political songs.
Yeah, these are.
And also, but also beyond political, these are songs that are there to make you question and think about these things.
And I think that's good. And I think anybody, whatever your view on, on these things, because hindsight's always 20/20, and the people
Yeah.
that made the decisions,
Yeah.
at least it's shedding, some light on it, and like you said, not with the empty slogans.
Yeah.
It's a very deep, a deep assessment of history.
Yeah.
And getting you to
Recent
look at
history,
it.
yeah.
And think about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. More artists need to, because so many times, I know we mentioned Green Day. I think sometimes Green Day says things much more simply.
Yeah.
This is obviously a much deeper lyrical assessment of history and war and those kind of things.
And just America, where it's been going over the last couple of years, where it is now, where it's heading, where it might be heading, and and to think, did we actually really ban the song "Imagine" in this country?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is hard to believe because it's a song that you hear everywhere. I mean, again, you always have since it came out.
Yeah.
40 plus years ago. It's a great song, but this is a great important album, obviously,
Yeah.
and I look forward to hearing the full album because I
And
haven't heard it.
I wouldn't call this easy listening, but I would say this is really strong, powerful songwriting. It's worth the effort, and make the effort to sit with it, live with it, think about it, give it multiple listenings.
Yeah.
And
I plan to do that,
it is
yeah.
a very different album from this band. This band has always been a very, I would say, literary band because their songwriting has always been coming from a storytelling perspective. They've always told great stories in their songs, and the Southern rock opera, explores the vast complexities of the South from someone who has lived it, and the vast complexities and contradictions. But that's another review for another day.
Yeah, sounds good.
At any rate, though,
Yeah, well, I definitely thank you for bringing
yeah.
that in, and I
Yeah.
look forward to hearing the
I would
new one by the
like to hear
Drive-By
more of
Truckers.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think we'll both definitely immerse ourselves and be
Yeah.
exposed to some great literature and
Absolutely.
great music.
So until next time, we thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And my name's TJR. You can check out my music at tjrmusic.com and all my own videos at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/TJR the original.
And my name is Robert Kinsler. You can read more of my work at ocregister.com. Of course, right here at musicworthbuying.com too.
And we'll look forward to seeing you again.
See you later, everybody.
And tell us what you think of these albums if you've heard them. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. See you later.